Welcome to another episode of In Case You Missed It with Christina Williams. And when you talk about guards and the impact that they make on both sides of the floor, our next guest is right at the center of that conversation. This past season, she averaged 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists per game, all while breaking the NCAA Division One record for steals in a single season. And she also led Notre Dame to its first Elite Eight since 2019. This two-time ACC Player of the Year, three-time ACC Defensive Player of the Year is someone who embodies heart over hype. And her story at Notre Dame is not finished yet. Please welcome Hannah Hidalgo to In Case You Missed It. Welcome to the show, Hannah.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks for being here. I know it's super early. I see the Notre Dame banners in the background.
Mhm.
Are you still on campus right now?
I am still on campus. It's not too early. I've been up since 5 o'clock. We got summer workouts, so it's not too early for me.
I love that. Well, I want to start with your off season. What's the most normal thing that you've done outside of basketball this off season?
Spending time with my family is definitely probably the most number thing. I had a lot of time back at home. Honestly, I surprised my parents for how long I was home. I'm never home that for 20 days, straight. So it was great just spending that time and kind of getting away from basketball for a little bit.
You had an incredible 2025-2026 season at Notre Dame. I'm curious, when the season ends, what's the first thing you usually do to kind of make that mental switch?
Typically go have like a little mental health day. Go get a massage, get my nails done, get my hair done. My hair done is the first thing that I go get for the summer. I always do that first. So just taking that self-care day just to kind of congratulate myself on such a long and of course, thank God, a healthy season.
So there was a photo of you, your coach, and Madison Booker that absolutely went viral online and it sent the internet wild. How
Mhm.
did you all convince Madison to rock Notre Dame merch?
Yeah, it wasn't anybody except for a me and Madison thing. I told her if she got to come support me. And it was really just all that was, just my best friend coming down here to Notre Dame and showing support for her best friend. But that's really all it was. It was nothing deep. They took it a little further, but it was just all fun and game.
So you announced that you will be returning to Notre Dame for your senior season. What went into that decision for you?
Yeah, it wasn't a second thought. It was probably one of the easiest decisions I made, or I've had to make these past couple years of my life. But Notre Dame, they've invested so much into me, and just being here with Coach Ivy, I've built such a strong bond with not only the coaches and my teammates, but also just the Notre Dame community. They really ride for me. And Notre Dame has done so much for me and every player that has come through this program. So it was easy for me to stay another year. Loyalty is so big for me. For me, it's not so much chasing the next best thing because there are always going to be something better, but I've built connections here and I love the people that I'm around.
Obviously, the goal is always a championship, but year over year, you've taken this program to new heights. What are some of your goals going into this next season?
I think the obvious one is, of course, getting over now the Elite Eight hump, and not even just doing that, but making it to the national championship. Of course, it's been my goal for 4 years, but definitely with the team that we have coming in next year, it's definitely a priority, especially with it possibly being my last year. That's really big is getting all the way to the national championship and just winning. And then I think another big thing is continuing to stay healthy. That might be taken for granted, a lot of times when injuries do happen. So it'll be very important to continue to stay healthy and just get better throughout the season, not only as a player, but as a person.
You mentioned loyalty and also your relationship with Coach Neil Ivy. What's some of the things that you've learned under her leadership as a player on and off the court?
Yeah, I think for me, this can go on and off the court, but the biggest thing that she's been teaching me since before I even got on campus was getting to that next play mentality, and just leaving the past in the past. You can't control what happened, but just kind of moving forward and going on to the next step. And it took me a long time to get where I'm at, and I'm still growing today to continue to get to that next play mentality. But that's something she has been so patient with me with is just trying to instill that next play mentality and being able to kind of control my emotions and still lead my teammates while doing so. And I think she's done such a great job in doing that. She trusts me so much and it makes everything so easy playing for her.
When you think back to last season and that Elite Eight run, what stands out to you most now that you had some time to kind of be away from all of the emotions of the game?
I would say the biggest thing that stood out to me was how we all just came together, as a team. We started off really shaky, and it was a little scary at first, but just our ability to kind of put the outside noise to the side and stay within with each other, within those four lines and not worry about anything else. We knew that we were all we needed and we were able to take it all the way to the Elite Eight when people thought we wouldn't even make it past the first round. So to look back and see, how we did it together was something a lot of people didn't expect. But of course, every time I play with my teammates, I know I have faith in my teammates. I have faith in what we can do, and I trust whatever God has in plan for us.
That Sweet 16 game against Vanderbilt, I mean, you had a triple double. What do you remember about that night differently than when it was actually happening when you were in the action of the game?
Say, I feel like it still hasn't hit me like the numbers that I put up, and it was really balanced throughout the whole stat sheet. It was crazy to see when they're like a triple double, and you could have had a quadruple double. Just to kind of hear that, especially it being in the playoffs, is like wow. Like I don't know anybody else that has done that before, and so of course just to be in those talk with some of the greats that have come through the NCAA tournament and putting up numbers like that was just crazy. But I just remember like just seeing red the whole game. Like we're not gonna be stopped at this Sweet 16 3 years in a row. And for Coach Ivy, I think it's been like 4 years in a row where she was stuck at the Sweet 16 level. So I'm like, we're not doing this again. We're getting over this hump.
There's so many aspects of your game that stands out, but for me, I want to talk about the defense. You set the NCAA season record for steals, but I want to talk about what you see when you're preparing to play defense. What's your read? Is it more of an instinct thing? Is it more of how you prepare? How are you so good at
Yeah.
defense?
I think it's definitely a mix of both. I think first and foremost, knowing the opponent, knowing who you're going up against, and what you can and can't do. If they're a good ball handler, then it'll be more reading the passing lanes and jumping those. I think it's also just a matter of being one step ahead of the offensive player and just making smart reads, just being ready to beat them to their spot before they even get there, but also playing smart. That took me a long time to figure out playing smart because I do a lot of gambling, and of course, Coach Ivy gives me that freedom because that's the player that I've always been. But learning how to be smart and when to go for steals and when to not go for steals, and I feel like that has helped me improve a lot on the defensive end. And I think my dad has always taught me it's just about being a pest on the ball. Like me being a ball handler, I know how difficult it is to handle the ball while also trying to set the team up. And it's a very difficult task for just ball handlers to do that in general. So I try and make it as uncomfortable as possible. But everyone knows my defensive side. They know what I bring to the defensive end, and I'm going to bring that every game. It's something I can control. But also just the fact that I'm a prolific scorer. Also, just being able to do it both ways on the offensive and defensive side is something I take pride in.
I know you can't give out all your sauce, but is it something that you do defensively that you feel like people don't notice that it changed the trajectory of a game?
I feel like on the defensive end, I try and give it 110% every time. If I get beat on a play, I'm chasing the ball down. I'm not gonna give up, on the play. Like if they blow by me, I'm looking to go behind and tap the ball from behind. And I think a lot of guys they keep it in their hands, so it's typically easy for me to tap it behind. But that's kind of all I was saying because, like you said, I don't want to give out too much of my secrets.
If you had to choose an all-time Notre Dame starting five, who would you put on your starting five?
I'm kind of biased, so it'll be a biased starting five. I'm gonna put me. I'm gonna go Ruth Riley. I'm doing Sky, of course. Love to play with Sky. She got that dog mentality. That's three. And I'm going. My goodness, I cannot think of her name right now. Jess Shepard. I'm gonna go on Sherelle Allen because she's just so cool to me. Just love her so much. And is that
That's your
everybody?
five.
Yeah, that's
That's
five.
your
That's
five.
five. There you go.
That's
That's
five.
five.
I like that. I like I like that. So, Hannah, I don't know if you know this, but I'm from Harlem. So I've actually had a chance to actually watch you play on the East Coast as you've climbed throughout your career. And I know you grew up in Jersey. What kind of basketball environment shaped you the most?
The outdoor sessions I think shaped me the most. They were dog fights. Playing with my brothers, it was no rules. It was like I wasn't typically the one getting beat up. I was the one throwing my brothers to the floor, but it was scrape hands and knees. It was throwing people into the grass. Like I think like that really shaped me just playing in the backyard with my brothers. growing up playing with the boys. I hear everybody say Jersey got a different chip on their shoulder, and I think it's true. I think Jersey brings out, a different type of dog in players. I think that Jersey, New York, Philly area, I think it kind of play with that same like grit, and I love it. And just being around, growing up in that environment, definitely helped shape the dog I am today.
What do you think embodies the perfect guard?
I think there's so much that goes into being a great point guard, but I think a really, really big thing is the communication that a guard has to have, being able to cope with each and every single one of their players, knowing each and every single one of their players, and figuring out how to reach every single one of them because everybody's different, and you can't talk to one player the same way you talk to another player just because they may not receive it like that. And that's something that I had to learn. And Coach Ivy, she's done a great job with helping me learn how to do that. But I had to learn how to connect with my teammates outside of the court and figure out, where they want the ball the best, how they score the best, how I can communicate with them. And I think that's something that's so underrated, but every guard should be able to do is communicate with their teammates in a very good way.
Jalen Brunson just brought a championship to New York.
Mhm.
He's a small guard from New Jersey as well. Obviously, you're still in college, but what does that kind of run mean to you, knowing that you, in a sense, have the same goal of wanting to bring a championship to Notre Dame?
Yeah, I mean, it would be amazing, especially just seeing like all the grades that have come through here, just seeing all the hard work that the coaches, kind of have put in and that kind of instilled into this program. And it hasn't been too long since we won a national championship, but it's been long enough. And it's just I haven't experienced it, but it's something that I would love to experience. And I know Coach Ivy, she talks about it, the feeling, and she brings alumni in to talk to us about bringing in, a national championship and kind of what it takes and, the feeling of it. And it's just something that I would love to experience and help bring to the program and to the community.
I know you said it's championship or bust, but whether you win or not, do you feel like you've accomplished everything that you possibly could at this level?
I believe accomplished a lot. I didn't really come into college with any kind of idea of like I want to achieve this accolade, this accolade, this accolade. I really only had the mindset of I'm going in to win a national championship. And of course, it would be disappointing if we didn't win it. But only one team will ever win it every single year. But I think I've been blessed to accomplish a lot in my collegiate career. Of course, again, it would be a little disappointing, but I think I've been blessed to do a lot with my 4 years here.
2 years ago, you were profiled by Anscape, and they mentioned your journey of wanting to be more connected to your Puerto Rican heritage. How would you say that journey has been going for you this far?
It's going so well. Like I was able to visit Puerto Rico for the first time ever, and it is so beautiful. I was able to visit my grandfather who still lives there. And we were like in the mountains. He had his like own farm, so we were there, and everything was just so different, so fresh. There was beaches everywhere. Was been trying to pick up Spanish a little bit. I just went to a Puerto Rican festival and was just able to kind of see like the culture is just so live, so bubbly. And I think like everybody that is like Puerto Rican, they like really ride for each other, and I love that feeling that I have, my culture kind of standing behind me, my people really rocking with me. And so I love that feeling because I think they ride deep for their people.
To say I went to Puerto Rico last summer and I went to one of the BSN games, and the environment and atmosphere that Puerto Ricans have for their sports teams is like out of this world.
It's
Like the environment is like none other. And then I also like kind of did a tour of going to the rainbows, riding horses, jumping in rivers, and connecting
yeah.
with nature. So really enjoyed Puerto
That's
Rico
awesome.
as well. But I'm glad that you're learning more about your heritage. I think that representation is so important,
Mhm.
and that there's many layers to being an athlete.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about the WNBA because you've seen some of your teammates like Sonia Citron, Maddie Westbled, Olivia Miles all make the jump to the WNBA. And I know that you have aspirations and want to be at that level as well. Seeing that pipeline, how does that make you think about your own path and your own journey?
Yeah, I think it's definitely achievable. It's so exciting. It's in the near future, but I'm excited. It's something that I've been working towards ever since I was able to pick up a ball. It's been my goal to go to the WNBA. So I'm super excited. Time has flown by so fast, but I'm so proud of all the people that have come through the program that are just thriving in the W right now, and I hope they have a great season. I'm rooting for them. I'm cheering for them, and it's exciting to see them. And then I'm excited to go next year, this upcoming year. Yeah, this next summer.
What does it say? Because Sonia Citron, she was a all-star her rookie season. Olivia Miles is having a breakout rookie season as well. What does it say about the preparation that Notre Dame prepares you for as you try to go to the next level?
Yeah, well, they call this guard you, and I really think that that definitely is true. If you look at all the guards that have come through the program, there's so many that are still in the league, but not just in the league, just to be that they're thriving in the league and they're doing so well. So I think it definitely speaks to how Notre Dame, how the people, the coaches, like really produce great WNBA players, because they're in the league thriving right now, and I think it's just a testament to that.
When you watch the W right now, who are you studying the most?
I wouldn't say there is any specific player, but I'm definitely like watching teams as a whole. Of course, Skylar. I love watching Skylar. I love that fire that she plays with, even at the age that she is now. And then her being in Chicago is even better. It's an easy drive. But I think just as a whole, just watching the game, I definitely take something from every team that I watch. Something different. There's a couple of teams that I love to watch that are just fun to watch in general that I feel like nobody expected to do as well as they're doing that I enjoy watching, but I wouldn't say there's any like one player.
Who are some of those teams that gets you excited this season?
Let's say one team is definitely the Valkyries. I love watching them play. They play with so much fire. And I think I was watching like I think it was them. One of the players were saying they're like a whole bunch of like rejects that kind of came together and like it's just like doing something great. And I love that mentality, just that underdog mentality is crazy because I've been an underdog all my life. So I just love people with that mentality.
You've mentioned your relationship with Skylar a couple times throughout this interview. What's that relationship like, and what advice has she given you on your path and journey to becoming a pro?
Yeah, Skylar, she's always coming back. She's always helping. She's always, talking to me. And it's so great. Somebody that has not only come through this program, but has done great things for the program and has also have thrived in the W. So just kind of hearing from her and her always talking, she's always open to kind of giving advice. And so, she don't sugarcoat anything. She tells you kind of what it is. And I love that about Skylar, and she's always telling me like that like fight. When she comes back and she's like kind of doing drills with us, she's like, the W, they're gonna be so much more aggressive. You gotta play them like this. You gotta guard like this. You gotta get your shot off like this. You gotta be in the gym. You gotta be working. If you lose, you should be in the gym the next day working on what you didn't do well in the next game. So she got that like that Kobe mentality. Like something not right, get in the gym, go fix it. Like you're not good enough, go get better. Then that type of mentality. I love that because she's made it, and she's doing what I want to do.
With the new WNBA CBA that was just signed, it is historic in a sense that rookies coming into the W will be able to reap the benefits right away. When you think about what the WNBA will look like when you get there, what are you excited most about?
I would say I'm first and foremost, it's such a blessing for one to be a part of the generation where women's basketball is finally getting the recognition that we deserve. I just remember growing up, everybody was just hating on just women's sports, but especially women's basketball. Like women they should be in the kitchen and doing all these things. And I'm like, man, like this is what I want to do when I get older. Like how do I do this? And everybody's just hating on it and not getting the recognition they deserve. But I'm so grateful for that. We're finally getting the recognition. Fans are watching. And then just for the people that have laid the foundation, that have come before and did it all, but also they didn't reap the benefits of it. All the people that have come before this new CBA, I'm so grateful for them. And I'm excited to be a part of kind of the foundation that they laid.
And your generation of athletes sort of benefited directly from NIL throughout your entire college career. How do you think that has changed the trajectory of the way people see women athletes?
Yeah. I think they see us as athletes now. I don't think they just see us as, she's a girl, she's a woman. I love that we have like little kids that are able to look up to us now, and not just little girls, but little boys also. But just to speak on like Notre Dame, because of course that's where I'm at, they instill so much into the women's program, and they're all bought in on what we bring, to the program and what we bring to the community. And so I'm so grateful for how much Notre Dame instills into the program. But I think it's changed so much. You know, it's been so long since, well, of course, athletes have never been able to make money off of their name, and so just to be able to do it now, again, it goes to the people that weren't able to do that, that really set the path and laid the foundation. And of course, I'm so grateful because it just started once I got to the collegiate level. So I'm so grateful to finally to be a part of this.
And as you said, it's paying homage to the ones that laid the foundation before, but your generation is also changing how people view women athletes, and you all are becoming household names in that sense. I want to talk about the ACC. What makes the ACC different from any other conference in college basketball?
Yeah, we got dogs. And I think and I was watching the NCAA last year, and it was like so many ACC teams that were still in like the Sweet 16. Like we had like the most teams like out of all the conferences that were like still in the NCAA, and I just think it speaks to how the ACC teams kind of can hold out throughout the season. And I think the strength of the ACC players, and just I think we're just all around just great players. Like maybe not the strongest, not the smartest, but like we balance out evenly. We got the strength, we got the skills, and just the mindset too. And I just think we're just all around just dogs.
Yeah, and across conferences, I feel like the parity in basketball in general has definitely gotten to new heights.
Mhm.
Coming up this season, Juju Watkins is expected to come back after missing a season due to an ACL injury. What do you think her return means for women's college basketball and that parity?
Yeah, it'll be so exciting to see Juju come back, and I think she's gonna have a great year. She had a great freshman and sophomore season. I mean, it's really unfortunate, what happened to her, but she's gonna come back with guns blazing. She's coming back on fire just to kind of prove the world. Everybody I feel like once you get injured, a lot of people think you won't come back the same. And I know for her, it's gonna be a lot of proving people wrong that she's back, for good. But Juju, she brought so much to the game, and there's so many people that just bring so many fans in, and she's definitely one of them that bring a lot of eyes in to watch. She's such an exciting player to watch, so it'll be really fun. We'll get a lot more fans watching, a lot more people tuning in.
Does it feel like just yesterday that you both were co MVPs at the McDonald's All American game?
Absolutely, yeah. I was actually just talking to my teammates that just, had come from, McDonald's being freshmen and things like that. And I'm like, man, like, they're like, yeah, they got documentaries. You're in the documentary. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I'm in a documentary and I'm only, going to be a senior. So it's crazy. Again, time flies so fast.
What are some things that you're going to instill in those freshmen that are coming in this season as now the vet on the team, the official OG?
I know. It's so hard, of course, being the vet, the upperclassman is crazy because it's like I gotta be the bad guy at times. Like, all right, y'all, we get on the line, like and things like that, which sucks because I was that freshman that's like, oh my goodness. But I think kind of instilling in them that hard work mentality, like don't quit. The collegiate level is different than the high school level. It's 6 a.m.s, yeah, 4 days a week. And it's like you got to continue to communicate. You got to take care of your body. You got to recover. And things like that they may not have done in high school because I didn't do it personally, but they may have because the high school level is a little different, but nowadays. But just kind of instilling them that hard work, is different here. We got to be in the gym. We got to be putting in the work. You got to communicate. You got to do the little things that may not have mattered in high school.
As a senior, when you look back at your freshman year at Notre Dame, what would you tell young Hannah?
Relax. I feel like when I was a freshman, it was like I was so anxious. Like almost like, first time at the collegiate level, like I can't believe I'm here. It's been so long. I've been playing basketball for so long, and I feel like now is when it's really starting to count. And I was just so anxious with like stepping into every single game. But I feel like now that I'm older, the game comes a lot more easy. I'm not anxious going into games. I'm able to kind of take a step back and know that I've done this thousands and thousands of times. It's basketball, and I'm gonna just go out and do what I've been doing and what I've done before. So I would just tell myself to relax.
Do you ever feel pressure to live up to the expectations of your own name?
No. No, no, no. I think I used to. I used to. I feel like I used to feel like I needed to prove something to everyone. Like I think just me being the underdog, people used to say I wouldn't make it, but to the D2 level, and I wouldn't make it past. college, just being an undersized guard. So going in as a freshman, I'm like, okay, I got to prove them that I'm here for a reason and I'm, going to kill at this level. But now I feel like I have nothing to prove to anybody. I've done this for years. I've already proven myself for 3 years straight now, consistently, so I have nothing to prove to anyone.
What's the motto you live by now?
Say, I don't know. I don't think I have a motto. The motto I've always lived by is hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. And that's my mindset with everything. I'm like, somebody's in the gym and I don't want anybody to outwork me. I want to be the best ever. I said, like, I want to be the best in the game. So I don't want anybody else to outwork me. So that's my mindset. And that's what's getting me in the gym 3 times a day, every day.
Okay, so before I let you get out of here, I want to switch gears a little bit. A little birdie told me that you've built up a large fragrance collection.
Gosh, what?
And so I love fragrances. I have a bunch myself. I want to know, how did you start collecting?
Yeah, my dad and my sister, they used to like get perfumes. My sister used to give me her old perfumes and it was really like the Bath and Body Works perfumes. Like I started off with those and my dad had like a whole collection. My dad had like over 100 fragrances, just collecting them and like spraying them and smelling different. So I really just watched him do that. And then once I got to college and I started making my own money, I purchased my first perfume. And then after that, it was like, that was it, and I was buying 3 every other week, every week, and then I started getting, like, $700 perfumes and watching perfume videos and then just collecting them.
What are your go-to scents for the summer?
Ooh, that's hard. I wouldn't say I have a go-to summer scent yet, but I like a lot of vanilla fragrances, a lot of gender neutral fragrances, like, I like Clive Christian, like Blonde Amber, I like Grand Soir, but those are more like winter fragrances, so I wouldn't say I have a summer fragrance yet.
No, it's so interesting you brought up the Bath and Body Works, so I feel like everyone needs that as a starter growing up. You
Everybody
gotta have
started
the Victoria's Secrets and then the Bath
everybody
and
started
Body Works and
exactly.
work your
Go
way
up,
up.
and then you go up. More
I'm
luxury.
curious, if I told you a few scents or notes that I like, could you put me on to a new fragrance?
Yeah, maybe, I think I got you.
Okay. So I like flowery and like
Well,
fruity scents, little hint of vanilla here and there. But those are kind of like my three top like notes, I
like
guess.
strong floral, like woman, like this is a woman's perfume, it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, I got you. So there's this brand called Parfums de Marly, and it's called Delina, and though that's a really popular floral woman's fragrance that also has this kind of nutty sweet type of scent. So yeah, there's Delina Exclusive, there's Valaya, which is a really good one, and then Valaya Exclusive. Those
I'm
are
gonna
probably
write
like
those down. I'm
yeah,
gonna write those down.
they're really good. I just ordered 5 of them, so we're about to do an
Would you
unboxing.
say that's your biggest thing that you splurge on, like
Oh,
just for your person?
absolutely. My people, they say, like, "You don't spend money on anything," but I feel like that's my splurge is, like, on perfume and then food. So I try
Smell
to save
good, look
up
good.
I try to save up to spend on perfume and then, that's my splurge.
And lastly, if you could think about your game and a scent profile, what
Mm,
would it smell like? If you think about Hannah Hidalgo, the basketball player,
yeah.
and everything you embody, what would that scent be?
Yeah, it would definitely be like a warm, but like a spicy type of fragrance. So it got a little spice to it. It has a little warmth to it, like a little bit of booze. Definitely like a kind of like a darker fragrance. You know what I'm talking about? Like there's spring fragrances and they're always like clear bottles, those clear
Mhm.
ones. But I'm more of like a dark bottle, boozy, warm type of spicy scent.
Listen, I'd buy that, and I'm sure your fans would as
That was
well.
on fire. I might create it.
You have to create it now. You have to create it, bottle it up, and create your own scent. What should fans expect from Notre Dame this season?
It's gonna be so fun. We're gonna have so many entertaining games. One game I'm throwing an alley oop. One game this season we're gonna see a dunk this season.
A dunk
Not
from
for me. I can't
yes,
disclose too
yes,
much.
yes.
I'm gonna be throwing an alley oop and they're gonna
I'm
catch it.
like, wait, if Nate Robinson can do it, you surely can.
Not
Get
for me,
out
not
there.
yet. Not yet.
All right, Hannah. But I appreciate you for coming on to In Case You Missed It this week. I'm wishing you the best of luck this season at Notre Dame and a fun summer, the fun rest of your summer.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure being here.